Hi, I'm Thomas, welcome to my channel. Today's day one of my very first draft for this middle grade project that I have been planning for the past couple of months. I think I started planning this project around January, and I do have a summary where the story is supposed to go, how it's supposed to progress, but I'm not a plotter, I'm more of a pencilist, so that summary is probably going to go right out the window as soon as I start, which always happens for me. Though I do feel like the summarizing process has really helped me solidify the world and the magic system and the characters and the character relationships. So I'm glad I did the summary, even though it's not going to be much use for me during the drafting process. I'm actually kind of nervous to be starting this draft because I've never written middle grade before. I'm more of a young adult writer. My project, Project Mist, is a middle grade fantasy novel, which middle grade is outside of my comfort zone. Fantasy is not. I love writing fantasy, and every story concept that I've ever had, every story idea has always somehow turned into fantasy. So I'm very comfortable within the fantasy genre, but what makes the story outside of my comfort zone is that it's middle grade, which is outside of my comfort zone. It's in first person, which is outside of my comfort zone, and I'm writing own voice, which I usually never do, but I kind of felt called to, so that's what I'm going to be doing, which makes it kind of nerve-wracking for me because I know that people are going to be reading this. I'm a part of a writing critique slash developmental group, so I know that people will be reading this in June, so I've literally got a deadline to finish this project. Making this own voice is kind of nerve-wracking for me, but you know, we'll just go for it. We'll see how it goes. And then another thing that makes this outside of my comfort zone is that this is, I wouldn't classify it as a historical fantasy, but it is very strongly influenced by the Joseon dynasty. And I'm not a history buff, so there is a lot of research that went into this, and I'm kind of nervous because it's not my culture. I'm not Korean, I'm not of Korean descent. I don't have any Korean ancestors in my family tree, so that makes it a bit of outside of my comfort zone as well. But yeah, we're just going to go with it and see how it goes. My major pitfall with writing in general is that imposter syndrome really kicks my butt, and I just get really overwhelmed with anxiety and what ifs, and I came prepared this time. I prepared a in case of anxiety jar with loads of motivational quotes in them, to kind of kickstart my brain whenever I get too much in my head about my writing, that I can just take out the quote and hopefully ground myself. It has helped tremendously in the past, so I hope it'll help this time. But before I can get started on my draft, I need to clean up my writing space, so that's what I'll be doing first, and then we're going to go right into starting this new draft. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Let's go.
하루 종일 머릿속에 네 미소만 우리 그냥 한번 만나볼래요 나 오늘부터 너랑 잠을 한번 자볼 거야 너 매일매일 내게 전화도 할 거야 밀가루 못 먹는 나를 달래서라도 너랑 맛있는 걸 먹으러 다닐 거야 너무 sweet and hot 정말 달콤한 걸
Alright, so I'm all ready and set to start writing. I'm just waiting for the kettle to boil and get my tea, because I love tea, especially when writing. It's such a mood setter. I have no idea how I'm going to start this story. Like, according to my summary, there is like this starting point, and I know where I probably should be starting. But let's be real here. The summary's already out the window, right? And I'm just going to let my character do the talking and see where he takes me. Like, I've watched a lot of plotting related videos and how to structure a story, how to build a character and stuff like that. And I've done all the groundwork, but I also know that whatever want I think that my character has, it's not what he actually wants, and I'm only really going to get to know him as I write him and see the world through his eyes. And I'm just really curious how plotters do it, because maybe it's just the way that my brain works, but whenever I think I know my character, right, I've got like this idea of them in my head, but it never translates onto the page. It kind of feels like when you meet someone for the first time and you think they're a certain sort of person, but then you get to actually know them and you realize that everything you thought you knew about them actually isn't true. I don't know. I'm so curious if other writers have like the same problem or experience the same thing, because it just... I've tried it so many times. Like, I've done all the character building sheets and everything. I've, in the past, outlined and plotted characters and character arcs down to the T. And then the moment I start writing them, it's like they're a completely different character. It's just, I don't know. But yeah, my water's done boiling. I'm going to make my tea, and then I'm going to sit down and see where my character wants to take me today. Side note, I always write with sprints simply because I like the community feeling, and because most often when I'm writing, or well, when I'm sprinting, someone else will jump in and I'll get to have a conversation with them throughout. It's a bit more difficult right now because most of my friends are really busy, so they're not writing all that much, and I had a minor chest surgery 2 weeks ago, so I'm not allowed to, and I physically can't write for long stretches of time, which is a bit of a bummer, but we'll see how far I'll get and for how long my chest allows me to sit behind my computer, because I've also got a meeting in about 5 hours with another friend of mine about that developmental group that I'm in, because I took over the co-chair from my friend Rebecca, because she's really busy with everything in her life and her new job and everything. So we're just going to go over tasks and delegate them, and I need to do some preparing for that as well, but writing first and delegating second. Let's go.
반짝이는 별빛들, 깜빡이는 불 켜진 건물. 우린 빛나고 있네. 각자의 방, 각자의 별에 서. 어떤 빛은 야물, 어떤 빛은 방황. 사람들의 불빛들 모두 소중한 나널. 어두운 밤, 외로운 몸, 별처럼 다 오랜 빛나. 사라지지 뭐, 큰 존재니까 Let it shine. 어쩜 이 밤의 표정이 이토록 더 아름다운 건 저 별들도 불빛도 아닌 우리 때문일 거야.
It's now 5:30 and I am 90 words into my draft, and I think I finally found my starting point. Like I said previously, like my summary is already completely out the window, as is my character's backstory. Their family's backstory is still exactly the same, it's just that the setting in which he grew up in has completely changed now, which also sort of changes the character a bit. Well, quite a lot actually, but that's besides the point. I am 90 words in. I rewrote the beginning, I think, about 5 times, and Well, I did have that meeting with Alexis in the middle of that, and my mind is still kind of reeling from the meeting and everything that we discussed, and kind of getting everything out into the group and delegating and everything. So I need to go out and clear my mind, because I sat down and I've attempted to continue writing and it's just not going so well. Like I can't get into my character's headspace right now, which is a bit of a problem, especially if you're writing first person. So I'm going to go out and I'm going to clear my mind, and hopefully the words will flow better once I get back. Let's see how far I can get today, and honestly, 90 words are more than 0. So I'm already extremely happy that I got a start at this, because I've been thinking about starting all week, and thinking about starting is not starting. So I'm super proud of myself that I started at least, and every word is one word closer to the end. So I'm really glad with how far I've gotten. All right, see you in a bit.
반짝이는 별빛들 깜빡이는 불 켜진 건물 우린 빛나고 있네 각자의 방 각자의 별에 어떤 빛은 야망 어떤 빛은 방황
I already figured out how I want to continue with my story, and I can now actually see the way to the inciting incident, which is super exciting, and I'm so stoked to get home and to get back to writing. Though I am worried that I won't be able to write as much because my chest is hurting quite a lot, so I gotta keep my arm in my pocket and try not to swing it about too much, because I really want to get down to writing, and I want to at least get to the inciting incident today, which is like the part of the book that I'm most stoked about as of yet, because the inciting incident is actually the title of the book. So I'm so stoked. I'm so stoked. I really want to get back home and get writing, but I'm literally a 35-minute walk from home, so gotta get back home first. But yeah, really looking forward to getting back at really looking forward to sitting back down and actually writing.
나는 75가지의 world 75가지의 삶 도시의 야경은 어쩌면 또 다른 도시의 밤 각자만의 꿈 let us shine 넌 누구보다 밝게 빛나 어쩜 이 밤의 표정이 이토록 아름다운 걸
I'm not where I want to be yet. I have not yet reached the inciting incident. I'm 200 words into my draft, and I don't want to quit. I want to keep writing, but unfortunately I've got fluid buildup in my wound again, in my chest, and it started leaking out, and it's actually stinging and hurting quite a bit. So I need to quit for today. Hopefully I'll get more words in tomorrow. I don't think I've got anything planned for tomorrow. If I do, I hope it won't take up much of my time. I can't even rest my arm on my leg because it's hurting. So yeah, time to quit for today. I'm just really glad that the surgery I've got coming up somewhere start of April won't be anywhere in my upper body area, which means that I can at least sit and write. Thanks for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment down below on how your writing journey is going. And hopefully see you again in my next video. Bye.